Hey everyone, welcome to my latest VY Deo where I'll be sharing some incredible stories with you. Before we dive in, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and give this VY Deo a thumbs up. I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get started. Our first tale is called They Overstepped Their Authority and Gossip About Us. My name's Sarah, and I'm a co-owner, not the sole owner of a media company. Even though I have the authority to make certain decisions and tweak operations, the corporate co-owners and other independent owners like me can still override each other's choices. So, before anyone accuses me of letting others tank the company, keep that in mind. Essentially, I'm both a part owner and an employee at this media outfit, where we VY to SARE VYCES like music production, audio engineering, forensics, and VY Deo editing. As the head of the music production and engineering department, I sometimes oversee audio work for shows, films, and streaming projects. We've got a board that includes other department heads, consultants, and co-owners, but most of the consultants and business-focused associates are useless when it comes to daily operations. They constantly pitch terrible ideas they think are brilliant, and occasionally, they push us to test them out. Here's how it's been going. A few client reviews and follow-up calls handled by our stellar marketing and sales team suggested that our staff was too focused on productive VY tie, Leah VYing no room for downtime, and that the VYB was overly serious. Since our company is always busy and our employees give their all, our top priorities are our team's safety and comfort, followed by our clients. Most of our staff, including me, are women, and our clients come from all walks of life. We aim for top-notch production quality and a professional environment that maximizes time for both us and our clients. But apparently, this signals to the sales, marketing, and consultant crew that we're doing everything wrong and need a complete overhaul. About 2 weeks ago, the sales, marketing, and corporate higher-ups, not me or the other department heads, decided we should be more lenient with clients. Not just with time, but by letting them eat and drink in the control and live rooms. We already have a fully stocked cafeteria where food and drinks are always available, and water's allowed in the work areas. Their new rules basically meant we could only ask clients not to smoke, vape, or use potentially illegal substances on site. Predictably, it went about as well as I expected. We had 3 or 4 client sessions under this policy. One went smoothly. The clients were pros, kept things tidy, and stayed on schedule. 2 others were decent, but left the control rooms a mess with bottles and wrappers everywhere, costing us extra time and money for cleanup. Then came the disaster client. They damaged ceiling lights and acoustic treatments, smoked HVLY, drank excessively, and ran around intoxicated. Their deposit and credit card covered some of it, but the worst was yet to come. On their last night, they smashed a sugary drink onto our recently restored SSL 6K Jeetsong mixing console worth hundreds of thousands, ruining the power supply and half the channels. Their cards due law 12K limit didn't cover the tens of thousands in damages, and they ghosted us without paying or setting up a plan. They didn't even get their final product. Sure, I could have shut down the policy immediately I saw the chaos coming. But my team and I went along with it, partly to prove a point. The corporate and sales folks shouldn't meddle in our operations unless it actually benefits staff and clients. Now, they're reviewing the policy flop to figure out why it failed and cost us so much. Last Friday, I joined a Zoom call with corporate partners, co-owners, and my lawyer, laying out the whole mess. I made it clear the sales and marketing team overstepped their authority and ignored our staff and clients' best interests. I handed over emails, memos, and vague threats about pulling funding which would have left my team unpaid and on hold. I also had IT pull their phone logs and emails for review. Monday's meeting included our legal team, corporate co-owners, the other independent owner, and the entire sales and marketing squad. They were sweating bullets, and I knew I'd come out fine. Legal had dug up a 2-month email and text chain showing the sales team and their director plotting to boost revenue while scheming to spite me for past disagreements. They'd even used company phones and apps for a group chat filled with racist slurs and insults aimed at anyone outside their clique. We'd warned them at hiring that everything on company VYCES was monitored. Half the team bailed mid-meeting, while the rest claimed innocence or accused me of setting them up. Those who left could resign, who did, the rest were fired. Wednesday, corporate scolded me for not using proper channels, but I pointed out their oversight was non-existent, and their main contact had dumped everything on the unqualified sales team. The other owners called me petty, but as majority owner, I'm untouchable, especially since their misused powers caused this. Today, Friday, the 5 key instigators returned, relieved to hear we'd tracked down the band that trashed our gear and were suing them. Hilariously, their lawyer blamed me entirely, saying they'd never get their jobs back. We're restructuring next week, and I've been told to be mature and avoid power plays fair, since I'm no business guru. The rest of the sales team's on thin ice, their super VY sour's gone, and it was a classic case of messing around and finding out. This proves how departmental clashes can spiral out of control. Never let sales and marketing call the shots or strong-arm staff theory, often clueless, and will blame you for their bad calls. Next up, HOA says I'm too young to own my farm. I'm Emily, and in my early 20s, I inherited 70 acres from my grandpa. My grandma always warned me big land brings big headaches, but nothing prepared me for this. I wanted to keep it as a peaceful retreat to pass down, but my neighbors had other plans. Some joined a local HOA with strict rules, fees, and landscaping demands. I had zero interest and turned down their invites repeatedly. Then they demanded I hand over my land, claiming I was too young and clueless to manage it. One guy trespassed with flyers about building a community trail through my woods. Their liaison, a pushy middle-aged dude, insisted it'd draw nature lovers and said I'd get it eventually. I kicked him out politely, but a week later, orange stakes popped up on my property. I pulled them out, thinking it was a mistake, but more appeared. An HOA rep I cornered in town played dumb, blaming a survey mix-up. I sensed a scheme but had no proof. Soon, my mailbox overflowed with letters on HOA letterhead, outlining plans for a park, clubhouse, and amenities in my land. They expected me to lease or surrender it for peanuts since I wasn't a member. A delegation showed up at my door with maps and papers, led by a stern woman who claimed my land needed their experienced stewardship. I told them they had no authority over me and to leave, threatening legal action. They huffed off, but the stakes and signs kept coming. Then one morning, I found a bulldozer tearing into my woods, with HOA folks directing it. I yelled at them to stop. They scrambled, flashing fake papers I refused to touch. My lawyer friend confirmed their claims were baseless and urged me to gather evidence. I set up trail cams and signs, and soon caught them measuring my pond. The sheriff rolled in, arrested the trespassers, waived useless authorizations, and uncovered forged signatures on supposed agreements. Turns out, their leaders were already under scrutiny for shady dealings. They destroyed parts of my forest, uprooted ancient trees, and left a mess. 2 HOA cronies later pitched a compromise at a cafe lease some land for recreation. I shut them down, noting the sheriff was nearby working the case. They bolted. A hidden camera near my barn, spying on me, added illegal surveillance to their rap sheet. The investigation ballooned bribery, intimidation, fraud, and they'd spread lies about me neglecting the land. I testified with footage and docs, and arrests piled up. The HOA imploded, losing members and trust. I've still got my 70 acres, but I'm fiercer about protecting it now. Last story. You can't fire me, getting demoted. I'm Jake, and I work the stockroom at a big box store. Think WVY Bess, not exactly employee-friendly. My shift was 3:30 p.m. to midnight, unloading trucks and prepping inventory for the overnight crew. Store policy capped us at 9 hours, so we had to be out by 12:30 a.m. We were always short-staffed, and one night, 2 of our 6 crew, including the lead, called out sick. With my experience, I was put in charge. We had 2 semis with 2,000 sewn items each and another truck with 20 pallets, 4 of us to handle it all. By 10 p.m., we were swamped, and the system dumped 350 more items to pull from 200 overstock bins. The overnight manager flipped out at 10:30, but I shrugged. I'd leave at midnight. At 12, they locked us in. Managers had the keys. We hit overtime past 12:30 against policy. They let one guy go for an exam, another for childcare, and by 3 a.m., it was just me. The manager harassed me nonstop, but offered no help. I walked out, and he yelled, "You're fired." I told him to explain it to the store manager. At 8 a.m., The store manager called me in for noon. I laid out the chaos. His story matched mine. The manager got bumped to days for retraining, and I wasn't fired. They offered me the overnight stockroom lead gig with a due law 1 raise plus a due law 1 night bonus. I took it, starting the next day. My family, especially my mom, who works there too, was thrilled. Bad bosses lose good people. Lucky for me, a solid manager stepped in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you next time.